Dave knows how.
Okay, so we ran into a problem right here where when we tried to put the T on, this part of the T, when we turned it, hit this connector. So I went up and got a disconnector which has a swivel on it, and it's supposed to fit like a flared fitting type deal. And there is a flare or an angle cut on the inside of this thing. So I'm hoping that will seat in there and seal this thing up, but we're gonna try it. This thing leaks fluid when you take it off, so we got the bucket underneath there to catch it. And then we'll go ahead and get this one screwed in. And we're getting a couple of grunts on it. And hopefully that will seal that up. And hopefully this will seal this up. Like that. And hopefully this will seal this one up. And this one, and then this. I feel like it's starting to tighten up. Hoping feel it tight. I guess I'll find out when I fire this tractor up what it's going to do. Get some, maybe get some brake clean and spray this off. Get that oil off there. Doesn't look like there's any leaks. I'm not seeing anything dripping out of there. Okay, I'm not seeing any leaks on these right here, and this is back to tank. So this is actually the low pressure side of the whole circuit. So, you know, it's not under a tremendous amount of pressure at this joint right here. Now the power beyond port, that's a different story. That's going to be under right much pressure. And this port right here is under a lot of pressure because this is the feed that comes out here and feeds the loader valve. So next thing I guess we'll do is start making up the lines for the thing in the back. We'll go check that out. Alright, we just want to make sure oil was going to come out. Trying to get a little bit of that air out. I don't think this one right here really needs any kind of tape on it because it's got a bevel, like a flared connection in there. It should be fine. I think I've got it right there. Okay. Man, well, I'll be able to hook that one up now. Let's see, I don't need to block any view, you can't see nothing, right? Bring it on over here. Okay, so one of the dilemmas that I knew we was going to have is these levers that operate that tilt is in the way of the seat, so you can't push them back. You can pull them this way, but you can't go back that way. And so we need to come up with a way to fix that. And if you've seen my other video about the gas springs, you'll recognize what this is. This came out of a gas spring. And what I was thinking about doing is I was thinking about, since this is longer, threading the bottom of this thing and you know, screwing it down in there and then bending this over and then up and moving this whole thing over here, and then I'd have a somewhat taller lever. Whoops. I am going to have to figure out some kind of knob to put on it, and this knob right here may screw off. I don't know, but we can figure out some kind of knob to put on it to get it up here. So it's either going to be that, or it's going to be build something to come up and come over. And I kind of like the idea of making two new handles out of this. If I can, you know, take this and figure out what thread it is, and put this thread on here so it screws down in there, and then mark where I need to bend it, and then just do a little bending, and then decide what to do about this end up here as far as for putting a handle on it. And I mean, we can make some type of handle. This might not be, you know, like what we got here, but it'd be close. So anyway, that's what I'm going to try to do now. I went up there and measured the thread on this handle. I'm going to try to make another handle out of this, and it was a metric thread. Shoot, I can't remember what size it was now. Let me look on it. So 125 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 125, 1.25, 125, whatever. Anyway, measured this thread, okay, measured it in inches. And then when I measure what's already been cut right here, that's close enough that we can cut that thread right on that shoulder that's already there. So that's what I'm planning on doing, is just putting that thread right on that shoulder that's already there. If we can make it work. And I got another one of these rods around here somewhere. If not, I'll just open up another one of those gas springs. And I know I got plenty of gas springs laying around here. I'm all over the place. Anyway, we'll get these. Had to go buy a set of dies because I didn't have any metric dies. And it's unbelievable what they get for these cheap dies, because these really aren't that great of dies. Not really great. I say that, I hope they'll at least do the job that I want to do. I guess I'm going to find out here in a minute. Anyway, get set up and just going to basically put a thread on here so that we can screw this where this knob came off, and then we'll take some measurements and do some bending. See if we can get it bent around where it'll actually fit on there. Okay, so we're just going to put some threads right up on the end of here, and this thing is actually, as luck would have it, I do get lucky every now and then. This thing is the right dimension. I didn't have to turn it to get it started or anything like that, so we just kind of gotta get this guy to start. Cutting a thread, and then once she starts, hopefully, it's supposed to be one of those cut straight threading dies, self-aligning. It's supposed to just cut threads right on. I did put a little bit of cutting fluid on here, just some sulfur-rich, sulfur-based thread cutting fluid. And she seems to be cutting pretty good. One thing that I don't like about this thread cutting die it only cuts up to a certain point. It won't cut all the way to the shoulder. You know, it only cuts so far, so but I'll flip it around and we'll try to cut it the rest of the way with the back side, if that'll work. It's a brand new die, so it probably will cut it. Once it gets a little older, it probably will. I generally do tap up to a shoulder like this, putting it down backwards once I get it started. But generally you don't have this far to tap. I mean, this is a pretty long ways to tap at the back of the die. It seems to be cutting it alright. I don't know what kind of steel this is, but it must not be much, because it's machining, it's cutting threads on this thing pretty easy. It doesn't seem to be struggling at all. Get some of that metal out of there. Just about to the end now. That's about it. We'll cut a little relief up in there, and that'll help it so that the nut can go all the way up against there if need be. Go ahead and this first threads were too small, so we're going to go ahead and just knock those off. I had the hacksaw and you had to whack this thing off the hacksaw. Don't see it. Just cut it. that end up a little bit with the file. Take a cutoff tool and just kind of cut a little bit of relief up in here. Right here at this shoulder. Just so we have a place for that nut to go up and it can seat right against the shoulder of this thing. Since we weren't able to get the threads all the way. We got threads pretty close though. I mean, it was probably within a 16th of a turn. Which is probably not even enough to even worry about doing this, but what the heck. A little bit of relief ain't gonna hurt none, that's for sure. Starting to get a little bit of music out of there. So I think that's enough right there. That should give us enough clearance right there that we can get a bolt and put a bolt in there. What do we do with the bolts? 8/125. That's 8/125. And let's see, is it going to go all the way? Oh yeah, there it goes. There we go. Okay. Yep. Went all the way. Here's the other one. We already got it done and threaded. And just need to put the wrench on it, I guess. A little bit tight too. Jeepers. Okay. Take that off. Put this in here. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can get him to tighten on up on there. Alright, he's all the way up on there now. Alright, so now we should be able to use that as a jam nut to get the thing straight. We got two rods that are matching length roughly. And we're going to probably cut these off to the length that we want them at. And we're going to go get a tractor nail and just kind of do a little dry fit. Screw it up on there and see where they see where they laying at, where we're gonna put our bends at, mark them, take them around there to the bender and start bending.
Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.